units at once, leading with these ghosts, going to try to get off EMPs. One EMP going down, but a number of feedbacks going down, and Mini doing a good job cleaning up those ghosts before they're able to do too much damage. The mothership being focused down by QXC, but the Zealots are doing a ton of damage to the economy of QXC. The Zealots perhaps want to be on this right-hand side, doing damage to the Marauders and Marines. Instead, they're going to take down the one orbital command center, but he's going to find many, many more at this point. So he was able to take down the mining base, but now QXC just going to move back into position. There aren't that many minerals here, just a mule or two could perhaps clean this entire base up. So Mini just using his whole army there, losing the majority of it, as we see the army tab 6,300 compared to 2,000, and he did not do much long-term damage to Root QXC here. I guess he's hoping that the minerals of QXC will perhaps run out before his own. But again, QXC, in any of these exchanges, these small exchanges with these medevacs, he is actually being very economical with his units and cost-effective, using fewer minerals and gas worth of units to take down more minerals and gas worth of inflow Mini. So we see QXC still has 11,000 minerals in the bank, and Mini only has the 3,000. And is also just mining off these two bases. He does not have good saturation on this island base. Trying to do a drop here. Needs to get those probes up and going. Now we see multi-pronged harass coming from QXC, both in the south and in the north. So we're going to try to finish off important buildings here for Inflow Mini. Getting a good EMP off on the High Templar, but more storms going off on the Marauders, and these carriers going to do a lot of damage, as it's mostly Marauders for QXC in the southern part. Going to be able to focus down the Marauders and the Ghosts quite easily, and if Mini is able to use these carriers effectively, he could turn this game. See, back in the main, we see two more nukes going down on the warp gates, so that if these nukes are able to go off, they're going to take down 5 warp gates here. So it looks like 4 warp gates and 1 unpowered, and just shredding the Protoss main base is QXC with these drops, trying to move his army back into position. But these tier 3 units are pretty slow. The carriers trying to get back, saving as much of his production as possible. QXC just doing so much damage, though. I'm not sure what Inflow Mini really has in the way of production structures. In this base down here, he does have, it looks like 8 warp gates, either up and running or warping in, and he's got 4 stargates. Looks like he has a robotics facility or 2, a few warp gates in his natural. So doing okay, but nothing compared to the production of QXC. If he wants, at the snap of his fingers, he could have another 30 Marines or Marauders out in just a moment. So we see QXC again with a superior army, 8,600 compared to the 6,300 of Inflow Mini. But Inflow Mini actually bridging the gap a little bit with these carriers, and if he's able to get up to 200 again, we'll see whether he's able to do damage against these Marauders. Marauders going to be highly ineffective against those air units. But now we see that QXC has prepared a number of Vikings, so these Vikings are going to be quite strong against those carriers if he's able to micro them and focus fire down the carriers. Again, just attack moving, the carriers are not going to go down, it's going to be mostly interceptors dying. So we'll see how QXC is able to use his Vikings and a few Marines here. Looks like we are getting a move out from Inflow Mini. He wants to have those observers so we can see those cloaked ghosts and try to get feedbacks on them before the EMPs go off. Number of EMPs going off on the High Templar. So these Vikings having to back up. So all the ghosts are down, all the High Templar are out of energy. And now we see the mothership, the second one coming in, cloaking all of these units. And QXC does have unlimited scans again, so the cloak not going to be too much of an issue. But he just does not have enough in the way of anti-air to take on these carriers and mothership. Looks like these Vikings have split here, as they know it's not going to be a good fair fight. And we see more Vikings on the way for QXC, another 6 in production, as well as just Marines and Ghosts. So checking out the Army tab, Miniflow taking a huge, or Inflow Mini taking a huge advantage, about double here, 7,400 to 3,600. He has been able to spend resources off of the Stargates. Looks like he's getting out a few Phoenix as well to try to deal with the impending Vikings coming from QXC. So if he's able to turn around and attack quickly with this set of units, he could win this game right here. QXC does have a lot more minerals in the bank, and he's got good production, So Inflow Mini needs to move out right now and really press this advantage. He's got QXC with the wrong army comp, and he's trying to get out more and more Vikings. We see it, the Vikings are coming right now, and it looks like Inflow Mini taking the wrong strategy here, or the wrong approach, hoping to just have more minerals in the army than QXC, but instead he really needs to push it at his advantage at this point. We see QXC quickly closing that gap, now almost up to the same size army as Mini, moving out with all these Vikings. So 21 Vikings here are going to be able to quickly take down carriers. The Vikings with 3 attack, doing 17 damage times 2 against the carriers. Carriers with no plating. They do have the 3 shields and the 3 attack, but these Vikings are going to be able to focus down very quickly. See these Phoenix trying to lighten the Viking numbers, and they're able to do a good job forcing these Vikings to back up. A lot of storms going down on the infantry of QXC, so they go down as well. And I believe that Inflow Mini is actually taking this battle quite handily. So really needs to push forward against the planetary fortresses. He cannot be afraid of those. Again, they cannot attack air. And he's got 8,700 minerals. Again, taking the wrong approach. He's hoping that QXC is just not able to outmine him, or that he's going to be running out of minerals. But QXC in the early and mid part of this game, doing some very good trades, units for units, and trading those cheaper Terran units for the more expensive Protoss units, and he is ahead economically. His lead is a little bit behind, as we see a lot of mules coming for QXC. They are going to be mining out the minerals of Inflow Mini, so we see a hey there. But off those orbital commands, not much else you can do. So we had a scan from QXC and then mules. But again, QXC just going to be able to macro up, now up to 6,100 compared to the 9,800. So we're going to have another big battle, or at least a few big battles here, but Mini really needed to press his advantage there. He had about double the army twice in the last 10 minutes here. He had his opponent on a horrible unit comp. And now QXC has 24 Vikings out on the field, more in production, 27. He's going to be able to salvage those bunkers, get up more ghosts and marines, so the EMPs are going to be flowing for QXC. See Inflow Mini moving out again, really attacking the wrong base. Not really sure why he'd be attacking this area here. He should be attacking the main of QXC, where all the production structures are. Take a note out of QXC's strategy book there. QXC doing great damage against the production structures of Inflow and Mini, and it was really able to hurt him in that mid game. So Mini moving out towards the south here and the west, really needs to take on the front door of QXC or those production structures. If we check out the army tab, 10,000 compared to the 8,000 of QXC. And what he's going to do is keep back here. He's going to use that planetary fortress to tank. Very smart. He does not mind losing that planetary fortress. What he did do, though, was he really took out a lot of interceptors with those Vikings and Marines and Ghosts. So these carriers for Inflow Mini are not at full strength, and QXC doing a very smart job there. Could have pushed out, but instead going to take down those interceptors and then attack at a later time. So could do the same thing with that northern planetary fortress as well. See the Vikings pushing out, perhaps poking. Again, we'll need to use scans here. It's going to do just that to uncloak these units. And if Mini goes for the planetary fortress up here, I'd expect QXC again to pull back and just take down the interceptors. Looks like they are going to focus down the mothership, two-shotting with all of those Vikings. So no more mothership for Inflow Mini, no more vortex, no more recall, as that mothership, I think, almost had 200 energy, so it could have done 2 vortexes there. Very strong spell. So Mini going to be mothershipless. And now it looks like QXC may be pushing out. It's got another 6 Vikings on the way, perhaps waiting for those. Going to send these cloak ghosts across. He does have 3 nukes, so he could use those, or EMP these tightly packed carriers. See an EMP there catching a number of the High Templars, so no storms on these Vikings. Going to be very powerful against the clumped Vikings. Going to try to kite back, take out these Phoenix. And now going to be focusing down these carriers. We see the carriers going to be going down one at a time here as the Vikings are able to focus them down quickly. And it looks like the Vikings might be able to clean this up, but Storm's doing a great job. If these Storms can clean up the Vikings, it looks like they will. Inflow Mini actually going to win this encounter and push out against the, looks like the main of QXC. Those Vikings having to retreat there. More Vikings coming 6 at a time, but QXC knows that it might be not enough. He's not going to be able to macro up in time. He's only down to 421 minerals. So Inflow Mini waiting him out there with the superior army, the carriers and mothership, and able to take down QXC here. So we saw in the early game, QXC was just playing his opponent perfectly like a puppet master. He had drops going in the northern part, in the southern part, at the gold, at the natural. And again, going back to his philosophy of small numbers of Terran units beat small numbers of Protoss units. Whenever Inflow Mini tried to warp in units to defend against those drops, he quickly focused them down, and his small number of units, which are actually cheaper, were able to take down the more expensive units of Inflow Mini, and he was able to have an economic advantage going into this late game. I'm not sure where it all went. Perhaps should have teched the battle cruisers to go against those carriers, as it looked like the Vikings were a little bit susceptible to the about to say Force Lightning, but the Psionic Storm from this Templar. But great Ghost and Templar play from both players. We saw individual battles were really won and lost based on the EMPs or the feedbacks which went down before an attack. And both players had small victories in battles, but Inflow Mini winning the war, a war of attrition, as he did have a mining base up, and QXC was all mined out all over the map here, and just chose kind of a bad unit comp, did not get up to carriers or Thors in the late going, and Inflow Mini really was able to use these carriers effectively. So very long macro game, pretty epic one between these two players, some great play from both. Anytime you can see nukes, motherships, and carriers in a game, it's a good one. So if you're looking for more StarCraft 2 action and games between these players and many others, Hydra, Huck, Kiwikaki, etc., check out my channel, Matron Starcraft, at youtube.com. Thanks for watching this one. Take care.